Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for visiting. I am Kendall, and what I want to talk about first is later this week I'm going to be posting a glute focused leg day. So before I really get into that, I want to be able to explain to you guys how to master a basic movement that you use a lot when you're trying to get some growth in your glutes. So the major thing that I'm really going to talk about today is the hip hinge. A lot of the time I see people attempting a hip hinge and it ends up looking like more of a squat, or they're getting a lot of flexion in their lumbar spine. And once you start lifting heavier weights, this can lead to injury. So some of the tools I'm going to give you guys today are very helpful whenever you're trying to conquer that movement. First things first is, if you have a sedentary job where you're sitting a good majority of the day, your glutes probably don't know how to fire correctly. This is what I call dead ass. So your ass is literally dead. Like, your glutes don't know how to contract. Your mind to muscle connection is lost. So what I like suggesting to people, and being an athletic trainer, I suggest this a lot to my athletes, is start focusing on your mind to muscle connection when you're doing exercises. So one thing I'll challenge you guys with today is, once I teach you these steps, if you do have a sedentary job, practice these every day, and I promise you, once you master them, as you transition into lifting heavier, you will definitely benefit. I suggest learning the hip hinge movement pattern before you start doing heavy deadlifts, before you start doing cable pull through. During a hip hinge, you're wanting to make sure that you maintain a neutral spine and you have a movement at your hips and not as much as a movement in your knees or in your lumbar spine. So a lot of people don't have mobility here that they know how to control. So sometimes I literally just have my athletes learn your pelvis, learn that your pelvis can tilt. So the first thing you're going to do is take your broomstick. You're going to place it right behind your back, where it's touching your tailbone, where it's touching your back, where it's touching your head. So what you're going to do is stand shoulder width apart with the broomstick touching those areas, your tailbone, between your shoulder blades and your back. You're going to bend at your hips, making sure that the stick stays in line with those 3 points. And you're literally bending. You'll feel a good stretch through your hamstrings. And as you stand up, squeeze through your glutes. So practice this movement where you're only moving your hips. I'm not bending my knees. I'm not bending my back to get there. My spine is neutral. And I'm bending forward and squeezing through my glutes as I stand up. For drill number 2, you're going to stand with your back facing a wall. You're going to have your feet, we'll say 6 inches away from the wall. So literally what you're going to do is, keeping your core tight, keeping your spine at a neutral position, you're just going to lean back and tap your butt on the wall. So you can see the movement is coming from my hips. I'm not bending my back to get back there. I'm not squatting to get back there. And my knees are straight. And I'm leaning back through my hips, putting weight through my heels to drive backwards. If you do have those dead glutes and they're not activating the way that they should, this is a really good way to teach your brain how to connect to your glutes and start getting things firing the way that they should. The weight that I'm pushing is going through my heels. I'm keeping everything neutral. As I push up, I'm squeezing through my glutes and my hamstrings. Glutes and hamstrings. And I'm holding it. I'm telling myself, squeeze squeeze, 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 and down. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope these tips help you when you're on your journey of growing your booty. If you have any questions, contact me via email or follow me on Instagram at Kendall D. Moore.